All right, guys, new intro here for the Bear Pack. We already crushed the 7K subscriber goal, so we are going to update that board here for you guys. Look at Joe Burrow, looking at all these nice, tasty giveaways. We have the 8K sub jersey giveaway. We have the 9K sub sports memorabilia giveaway, 10K subs, the big one, $1,000 giveaway, and the 12K subs. We're going to send a couple people to a game of their choice. Guys, we are very excited for the football season, but no more talking. Let's get right into this video, Trey.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the buys, the sells, and the waiver wire ads. We're going into week 5 now. We're over a quarter of the way through the NFL and fantasy football season. Playoffs are only about 8 weeks away, so we need to start retooling these rosters and continuing to improve. And the best way to do that is to buy, to sell, and to get these waiver ads. Seth, I'll start with you. You got any cool stories to tell about this past weekend? Any, close losses? Any big blowout wins against any rivals?
In fantasy football, I had a 176 to 100 win against one of our good buddies in our friend league, and then I had a 200-point game in your league, Trey, or Jake's league, I guess you can call it, but you're in that. What else? Oh, Geno Smith, he needed 14.75 points, and he got me 12 the other night, so thank you, Geno Smith. But I think that's all the stories I have for you, Trey.
Yeah, and I got a story to tell real quick, and then we can go to Seth. I am trying to lose in one of my dynasty leagues, trying to, tank for Caleb Williams over here, or tank for May, or even tank for, Marvin Harrison. I'll be happy with either of those three. And I was like, all right, Trey, this is the smart play. Take out, Tyler Lockett and put in Noah Fant. And about halfway through the game, I was feeling good, and then Noah Fant just continuing to dominate, got that big pass, almost caught that touchdown, almost broke my heart, ended up winning just barely by like 1.5 points. So shout out Noah Fant for winning me a week that I did not want to win.
Trey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you the commissioner in that league?
Which league?
The one that you're trying to tank?
No.
Okay. So do you have to play players in every spot?
Yes. So what I do is, it's just manager choice. Noah Fant, Tyler Lockett, it's not that big of a difference, but I'm not going to be, sitting Alvin Kamara and putting in, Kenny McIntosh.
Okay, well, I was just making sure because in one of the leagues a couple years ago, I tanked and I tried to lose and I didn't play players and I got like a 25-point ban in the playoffs.
You got to be a little bit smart about it. You can't be, nothing too egregious. Tyler Lockett, I think, was projected 11. Noah Fant was projected 7. So it wasn't that big of a difference. I was just hoping for Noah Fant to put up a dud, and he almost did.
All right, yeah, that's fine. All right.
Seth, you got any crazy stories about this past weekend?
Yeah, the only thing I have is a bunch of crazies in my league, like Christian McCaffrey drop all the way to number 7. I said, how does that happen? When he was I was actually at a Jelly Roll concert when I was drafting my team. I was just jamming out to Jelly Roll, and I looked down, pick 7, and Christian McCaffrey's still sitting there. I was like, all right. And then people let Alvin Kamara slip and just keep slipping. So I went ahead and picked him up, was able to trade Derrick Henry to Bear. Got myself Mike Evans. Wasn't a bad trade for either of us. Probably more in favor of Bear, but that's okay. I needed a receiver. And I had Kamara and McCaffrey.
You traded Henry like a week before Tractor Cedo season. Like, I definitely won that trade. There's no doubt.
I'm not saying you didn't, but I needed receiver depth, and I like my running back. So
all right. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, Derrick Henry season is upon us. I put him as my sell last week, and he comes out and just absolutely delivers an amazing performance. Seth, if you would have lost that game with Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey in your starting lineup, I don't know what I would have told you, but I assume that you won that matchup.
Yeah, I won that matchup with Daniel Jones getting me 8.6 and Mike Evans getting hurt early and Amari Cooper only having 2.6. So, but shout out to Jake Elliott as well. I have the best kicker in the NFL.
All right, guys. Well, enough small talk, but we're going to be moving right into our week 5 buys, our sells, and our waiver wire ads. Like I said, we're over a quarter of the way through the season, so you guys know how to improve your roster by now and which positions you need. And I'm going to start us off here. My week 5 buy is going to be David Montgomery. Guys, we just need to buy on Montgomery at this moment. He's going to continue to score touchdowns in this offense. Last week, he had 32 carries and 3 touchdowns. I myself had my doubts. I'm sure we all had our doubts heading into this season about David Montgomery. Monty's injury history and Jahmyr Gibbs being in that backfield. We kind of, just started stacking up, roadblocks for Montgomery to have viability in this offense. But we have seen through almost a quarter of the NFL season that the Lions absolutely love Montgomery. In week 1, he played 79% of the snaps. Week 2, he got injured and still finished with 45% of the snaps. Week 3, he sat out. And last week, he came back and immediately played 71% of the snaps. And across that span, across those 3 games, even with him getting injured halfway through week 2, he is averaging 87 rushing yards on 23 carries per game. He's getting an immediate volume, and he's also averaging 1.6 touchdowns per game. And last season, we saw this with Jamal Williams in this offense. He scored 17 touchdowns. In Montgomery, he's a significantly better pure runner than Williams is. So this Lions team has a lot of faith and confidence that they can put him out, just not in red zone schemes like last year with Williams. So I would buy on Montgomery. He's going to continue to get a lot of run in this offense, and he will continue to deliver RB1 weeks for you guys. So that's going to be my week 5 buy is David Montgomery. Seth, who's going to be your week 5 buy?
Yeah, and it's a guy that we probably should have been buying on a little bit earlier because now that he's back, I mean, yeah, nobody's going to trade him if they have him. I mean, he showed us again why he made me ask the question, why do people keep questioning Alvin Kamara and his skill set? Why do people keep letting him drop down boards because he has a mediocre in terms of Alvin Kamara season? He's a top 3 dual threat running back in the league. He's a PPR machine. He caught 13 catches on 14 targets, 13 receptions as a running back. Yeah, I mean, he also has the check down king in Derek Carr, as we all talked about. Derek Carr likes to check down. And I mean, honestly, it's going to pay off in big terms for Alvin Kamara. On top of that, he added 11 rush attempts as well. There's really no running back competition there with Jamal Williams hurt. Kendre Miller has some high upside, but I don't see him eating into the carries of Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is going to be tough to get if you're trying to go buy him now. He's one that I probably would have bought more high on in the draft, which is what I did. I went ahead and just took a chance on him because I knew after 3 weeks he was going to be ready to eat, and that's what he's doing. He's a PPR machine. I'm tired of people questioning him. He's going to get catches constantly on a consistent basis. This is a guy that if anybody offers you Alvin Kamara, I would probably take it. I mean, depending on what you're giving, but this is a guy that you should go get.
Yeah, and I love that. And as a Raiders fan, I am telling you guys, Alvin Kamara is going to continue to get PPR receptions throughout this season because that's just what Derek Carr is. He's a check down king, like Seth just said. Now, Bear, who's going to be your week 5 buy?
I just want to say all-time stat last week, 13 catches for 31 yards, I think it was. Yeah. All-time stat from Alvin Kamara and Derek Carr last week. 13 points, though, for PPR.
Yeah, that plays perfect. I don't care. He only has 3 receiving yards. I don't care.
Right. But, yeah, my buy is going to be Saquon Barkley for the New York Giants. I think that you could probably go get Saquon Barkley for pretty cheap right now. And I also think that if you're able to get him on your team, when he comes back from injury, he's still going to be a top 5 running back. The New York Football Giants are a dumpster fire team right now, but they have played a very tough schedule. They played the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers already. But looking ahead to when Saquon Barkley is probably going to be back in that lineup, it's going to be around October 22nd against the Commanders. He's going to play the Raiders, the Commanders twice, the Patriots, the Packers, the Rams, the Saints, and then the Eagles, a tough Eagles team. So we have the Green Bay Packers, the Washington Commanders, and the Las Vegas Raiders. 4 of the next 8 games that he's going to get to play against, those are teams that rank bottom 10 this season in rush yards per game. The Philadelphia Eagles are obviously a very good rush defense, but the rest of those teams are middle of the pack as well. I think his production is going to be just fine when he comes back, and I think you can get him pretty cheap right now. So my guy to get is Saquon Barkley this week, Trey.
I was a little bit surprised about that, but you made a good point. You're not supposed to just buy high. This is a good point to buy low on Saquon because, like you said, he has a great schedule ahead, so I love that buy for you. And then my sell, guys, I'm going to be moving over to, the sourness, the sells, the people that, we're looking to sell him. And maybe it's kind of like a reverse of what Bear just said. Maybe you're selling high after a big week, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm taking one of Bear's favorite players. I'm selling Dak Prescott. He's going to be my week 5 sell. And guys, this is tough for me to say. You can ask Bear. I'm honestly one of the biggest supporters of Dak Prescott throughout the years of Bear saying he's doo-doo, he's doo-doo. I've said, no, he's not. He's good. He has talent. Give him, just have faith in him. But I'm at the point where I've lost faith because Mike McCarthy, it seems like he's also lost faith. He doesn't really have his trust. He's not getting the sheer volume that he was whenever Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. Through 4 games, Dak Prescott's averaging 34 pass attempts on only 227 passing yards per game. In 2021, we saw him almost average 40 passing attempts per game and average 279 passing yards per game. That's a significant decrease from what he was doing in the past. And it's kind of just made him into a game manager quarterback. And that's not what we're looking for fantasy football. His highest finish this season through 4 weeks is QB 17, and his lowest was QB 29. That is not what we were expecting from Dak Prescott whenever we drafted him as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So, guys, I would sell before it's too late, before his value crashes anymore. I'd look for more of a consistent option. Even if you can get, Kirk Cousins for Dak Prescott, I would send that trade in redraft leagues because Kirk Cousins is more consistent. You can kind of trust that he's going to be getting that volume every single week. And with Prescott, you cannot be sure of that. So my week 5 sell is going to be Dak Prescott. Seth, what about you?
Yeah, guys, and I was trying to hold off on the sell, and I've been pushing it off for 4 weeks. It's time. It's time, guys. Kyle Pitts, I don't know. It's a waste of a talent. This dude, I mean, we're hearing all this stuff about Brock Bowers going into next year's draft. Kyle Pitts was that guy a few years ago. Kyle Pitts was that guy that everybody's like, oh, that's a tight end you got to go get. Very talented, very athletic, very fast. I'm guessing it's the scheme. I'm guessing it's the quarterback he's playing with. I don't know. But until Kyle Pitts gets out of Atlanta, I mean, he's getting limited targets. He's only been targeted. His highest targeted game was 9 targets this year. But other than that, he's been at 3, 5, and 4. This is a guy that should be getting very high volume targets on a team that has Drake London, and that is about it. I mean, they have Bijan out of the backfield, but you're talking about Mac Hollins as the number 2 receiver, and Kyle Pitts still isn't getting targets. I do not like Desmond Ridder, and I know a lot of people on your guys' live show a couple weeks ago was talking about this, like, what can they do to get Kyle Pitts the ball? Well, I think it's just a matter of Desmond Ridder throwing it to him. I've seen, especially in the game in London the other day, on Sunday, I saw him open. I mean, they were a little bit tight windows, but it's enough that most quarterbacks would probably take a chance at with a target like Kyle Pitts, big, strong, fast. Desmond Ridder just does not have the confidence. I am not saying this is a Kyle Pitts issue. I think it's more of a Desmond Ridder and Atlanta Falcons issue. I am still very high on Kyle Pitts. Do I think they're going to trade him? No. But if this is a guy that for some reason the Falcons said, okay, let's see what we can get out of him. He's not producing like we thought he was going to produce, and they end up trading Kyle Pitts, then I'm going to be very interested, and he might move to my buy. But right now, get what you can get out of Kyle Pitts before people totally give up on him, because right now he might be able to be used in a package because somebody still might think he has high enough upside to take a chance on him. I have lost all confidence after 4 weeks. I just don't think Desmond Ridder can get him the football.
Yeah, it's never a good world to live in whenever Jonnu Smith is outpacing Kyle Pitts in that offense. It just doesn't make any sense because Kyle Pitts is out there all day. It's not like he's just not getting any run. He's just not getting any balls thrown his way. So I agree with maybe selling Kyle Pitts. It's tough because I'm the same way. I've continued to fight it off. I was thinking about picking him this week, and I was like, no, fight it off another week, Trey. So I'm glad somebody picked him up. Now, Bear, who's going to be your week 5 sell?
Yeah, we're going tight end to tight end. I talked about the Giants and why you should buy Saquon Barkley. So now I'm going to tell you why you should sell Darren Waller. Right now, right this second, there's someone in your league that is not a football guy. He's going to see Darren Waller in a trade and say, that's a top 5 tight end on paper. You, the person trading Darren Waller, are the football genius. You know that with Daniel Jones throwing the ball the rest of the season, Darren Waller isn't going to do much of anything. Now, it's not all Daniel Jones' fault because the offensive line isn't doing him any favors, but the Giants have been down big in almost every game. And Darren Waller has gone under 40 receiving yards and under 3 catches in 3 of the 4 games. That is not tight end number 1 production. That isn't even bench production in my mind. Go ahead and try to get Darren Waller off the squad. You can probably get someone decent because you can trade with someone who's not a football guy. The name value is still there for him right now. But whenever the Giants play the Dolphins and the Bills in the next 2 weeks, nobody's going to want any piece of Darren Waller. Go ahead and sell him right now. Darren Waller will be my sell, Trey.
Yeah, I wouldn't even hate selling Darren Waller for a guy that Seth's going to be talking about a little bit later. But I've heard from a lot of people on the Pat McAfee show whenever he's been bringing people on, Darren Waller hasn't produced and probably will continue to not produce because the Giants, they're happening to use him as a chipper on the line and as a blocker on their line. Their offensive line is just so bad. They're having to make Darren Waller a chipper, and by the time he runs his route, Daniel Jones is already sacked. So it is what it is with Darren Waller. So I agree with selling him there as a Raiders fan, I would have sold him a long time ago. And I'm glad the Raiders sold him to the New York Giants. But guys, time to go over to the waiver wire ads. This is where you can win and lose your leagues as well by picking up these players. Or if they're already picked up, maybe you could trade them for something, a little bit small because they're players that are not starting in people's lineups. I'm going to start mine off here with Tyler Boyd. I do expect Boyd to see a slight increase sooner rather than later because last week T. Higgins, he fractured his ribs. And Higgins, I got to give it to him. He claims that he's going to play through it. But I feel like playing in the NFL, the fractured rib is just going to get better before it gets worse. So no matter what, we are going to see Tyler Boyd get a little bit more run over the last few weeks and maybe even the entirety of the season. And with the Bengals being an extremely pass-heavy offense, it just makes me really love picking up Tyler Boyd. And Boyd, whenever he was the starter 2018 and 2019 before Higgins was drafted, he turned in wide receiver 16 and wide receiver 18 years in PPR. I would love for Boyd, go back into the time machine and give us those seasons this year. And with Burrow not being very mobile at the moment, I think that Boyd's short and intermediate route game, his slant God game, is going to be right in Burrow's wheelhouse here. So go pick up Tyler Boyd if you can. And if somebody has him, just go try to trade for him because I very, very much bet it's not going to take very much. Seth, I kind of keyed on this guy a little bit earlier, but who's going to be your week 5 must add?
Yeah, but I'm going to touch on yours real quick, Trey. My bold take, and I've had this bold take since the offseason, I am fully confident that T. Higgins will get traded at some point this season. He is having contract issues, and I do not think he's going to re-sign with them. Jamar Chase is their number one. T. Higgins sees himself as a number one. I think if the Bengals continue to struggle, I do think T. Higgins will find a new home. So Tyler Boyd would be a perfect pickup because he will be getting quite a few targets.
Well, T. Higgins is a number one, right?
I believe he is. Yes.
It's kind of like the Jalen Waddle thing. Like Waddle's the number one.
I believe he is a number one. He should think he's a number one, but the Bengals have money to pay Jamar Chase, and they've already made it clear that they can't meet T. Higgins' demands. So I think he could find a new home. That's my bold take. I don't know if it'll happen. Bengals will probably find a way to pick it back up. But
you know what? He needs to be traded to go help out Mac Jones. I know Bear would love that.
Yeah, watch him go die in the Patriots. Great job. Great job there.
But Seth, who's going to be your week 5 must add?
Yeah, and just like Trey said, this would be the guy that I would go for to replace Darren Waller. Jesse can touch a little bit on him after me because I know this is a Cowboy here. But I'm going to go pick up Jake Ferguson. He is only 24.6% rostered, and he is the 8th ranked tight end in fantasy football. I mean, this guy is just sitting on the waivers. He's shown us time and time again over the last 2 weeks he's going to get targeted. He's had at least 7 targets in 3 of his 4 games, and then he had 4 in his other one, but scored a touchdown in that game. I mean, he's a big red zone target. Dak Prescott has to find his outlets because he's not confident enough to stay in there and throw the ball down the field. Ferguson's that perfect person, that outlet for him. I know Jesse made this comment about Dalton Schultz in our show earlier on that he thought he would be great for CJ Stroud because those quarterbacks do look for those outlets, and those tight ends are the guys that are the outlets. He has huge PPR potential with getting targeted 7 times per game and through 3 of his 4 already, and he's going to get a big target share because really the only thing the Cowboys have is CeeDee Lamb. So outside of CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson's got to be that guy. Michael Gallup hasn't shown up, but I'm going to let Bear touch on this a little bit because I do know this is a Cowboy.
Yeah, thank you, Seth. I'll take it from here. This is a great pickup from you. I added him last week. Dak Prescott, you guys see the movie Happy Feet with the penguin dancing. Dak Prescott and that penguin could probably have a dance off because Prescott in the pocket, happy feet, triple pump, pat the ball. He'll find Ferguson for a 5-yard curl. The Dallas Cowboys the last 15 years have been pumping out Jason Witten minis. So this big white tight end that runs curl routes, and Dak just keeps pumping, and then he doesn't take a sack. He'll just check it down for the 3-yard gain. So I love that play from you, Seth.
I love that. And I love Jake Ferguson. I've been picking him up everywhere in my dynasty leagues throughout this past offseason. As soon as Dalton Schultz moved on, I said Jake Ferguson's going to be their guy. So I love the week 5 must add from Ferguson. I'm surprised he's only 24% rostered. Whenever you put that in the chat, I was like, well, I don't know how much of a waiver wire ad he is because he's really good. And the tight end is not very deep, but 24% rostered. I guess he's still out there and people need to go snag him for sure. But Bear, who's going to be your week 5 must add?
Yeah, my guy to go get right now is those cookies at the store. They have a little pumpkin on them, and I don't think they're like sugar cookies, but if you see them at the store, you know what I'm talking about. I have a picture of the cookies right here for you guys to see. And the reason that I'm going with the cookies here is because there's really not much that you can go get right now on the waiver wire unless we see some injuries here in the NFL. There's not a lot to pick up, especially if you're in a 12-man league. I'm also going with the cookies here because you need snacks for Sunday. So cookies are a great snack, and it's October, so it's officially spooky season. Get festive here. Go get yourself some of these delicious cookies. Honestly, you don't even have to cook them. Just pop them in your mouth. They're great that way too. I'd say they're even better not cooked than cooked. My pickup of the week, Trey, will be a box of Halloween cookies at the store.
And they only need 4 minutes in the oven if you put them in there. Don't put them in there or they get rock hard.
If you put them in the mouth and just leave them in there for like 6 minutes, they're cooked. So I love the cookie pickup this week.
Guys, and I think that you guys are tuning into this channel for that type of fantasy football knowledge, that hard-hitting knowledge. Getting those pumpkin cookies might be the difference maker between winning and losing your entire fantasy league. So make sure you guys go out to Walmart, Costco, anywhere you guys can go and get those pumpkin cookies because they are very warm and gooey, like Bear said. But guys, until next week, thank you guys for watching. And like we always say, tune into our Sunday lives. We weren't live last Sunday. Bear, he was out there on the links, and who knows, I might be out on the links this Sunday. But we will for sure give you guys a Sunday live this weekend. So tune into that, and thank you for tuning into this. Until next week, guys, thanks for watching.
Questions this morning about how to become a member for the YouTube channel. Let's do that really quick tutorial. You're going to go to youtube.com. You're going to go to Bears Profit Plays. You're going to search it in. You're going to hit our thing. There's a join button right just to the right of subscribe. You're going to click that. There's two options. You have the Bear Pack for $4.99. That gives you access to YouTube member plays. And then you have the Bear Pack Gold for $7.99 a month. That gives you access to our member plays on YouTube. And it gives you a 1-month membership to our website, bearsprofitplays.com. So if you get the Bear Pack Gold, you save yourself $2 a month, a little bit cheaper if you want to do that. But that is the tutorial for anybody that needed it. We had multiple questions today through email about how to do it, and it wasn't working. But if you want to know, there it is right there, Trey. Just want to let everyone know that while we do give out free picks, plays, and predictions on our YouTube channel, we also have a website for you to check out. On our website, bearsprofitplays.com, you can subscribe to the website absolutely free with an email and gain access to our written articles about upcoming sporting events. If you're really looking to make some cash, we have an option to become a member of our website. If you become a member, you will gain access to our Locks of the Week, which are written articles that go in depth as to why we are picking that particular outcome. As of now, our member plays have been red hot, hitting over 60% of our plays. If you don't want to become a member, it's no sweat. We are here to try and make you guys some money. That's our main goal. So come on over to bearsprofitplays.com and subscribe for free. Check us out, follow our free picks, and see for yourself that our member plays are a great investment for you. Thanks for watching.